Other ways to counter illegal immigration. A presentation by Paul Brackey, author, publisher. American Leadership Books. Author of 9 books on social, political, and criminal justice issues. Here are additional approaches to supplement creating a wall to curtail illegal immigration. Provide some sort of fencing and better monitoring, as recommended by Border Patrol agents. Increase the number of Border Patrol agents. How do we deal with the 11 million illegal immigrants estimated to be in the U.S.? Here are some recommendations. Though we can never identify and deport all of them, we might generate enough fear in the Hispanic community from ICE agents finding and arresting these immigrants that many will self-deport to Mexico and find it better off than when they left. It might be better to consider some different paths to citizenship or devise some comprehensive immigration reform. More judges would help to process the backlog of asylum cases. We might set up a pathway to legal non-voting status rather than citizenship for current illegal immigrants. We might couple this pathway with some fines and an end to affirmative action for Hispanics. How should we deal with thousands of refugees and migrants in future caravans? Here are my suggestions for this. Secure the border with a combination of walls, fences, greater patrols, drones and more border security agents. Discourage illegal immigration by eliminating their access to most services provided by city, state, or local governments, which might lead many to leave the U.S. voluntarily. Once illegal immigrants make it into the U.S., it can be hard to find and deport them. Here are my recommendations on what to do. Monitor immigrant crime more closely by requiring local and state criminal departments at all levels to keep accurate records of all crimes. This information should indicate whether a person who has been arrested, tried, convicted and sentenced to prison is a legal or illegal immigrant and from what country. This data can indicate the extent to which illegal immigrants are involved in criminal activity across the country in order to help decide what to do about it. We need to be especially strict with illegals who commit crimes. We should institute strict penalties and deportations for crimes committed by illegal immigrants. Perhaps tag those deported with microchips, so they can be more readily identified if they attempt to re-enter the U.S. Encourage Hispanic community members to cooperate to support the arrest or deportation of illegal immigrants engaged in criminal activity. To avoid being swamped by the numbers of immigrants seeking entry, we should limit the number of legal immigrants allowed into the U.S. We should be more selective about the immigrants admitted in order to select those who offer the most skills and education. Those immigrants will be better able to contribute to American society. However, we must take care that they don't take away jobs from Americans. One might sympathize with the plight of migrants and refugees having to flee their country. But migration is part of a larger problem of over 65 million displaced persons worldwide. Over 25 million refugees have fled due to wars, poverty, and turmoil in their countries. These people have few options, and most have ended up in refugee camps and tent cities, or have become homeless. It is not possible for other countries to incorporate huge numbers of displaced persons into their countries. It is even more difficult to incorporate refugees who speak another language. The danger of taking too many refugees is creating a greater risk of crime and disorder in that country. This problem is true for migrants and refugees trying to get into America. It is not possible to take in the vast majority without creating more crime and dissension in the U.S. Liberals try to paint country leaders trying to protect their country as insensitive and even evil. This effort by liberals has led to a growing barrage of attacks on the Trump administration for policies to crack down on immigration. These attacks have included photos and stories of suffering immigrants caught trying to sneak into the U.S. There have been poignant stories about children separated from parents. Other stories talk of the terrible conditions of immigrants from Mexico and Central America. Liberals wrongly blame the administration, Border Patrol, and ICE Immigration and Customs Enforcement for terrible detention conditions. This is unfair criticism because facilities to temporarily house migrants were built for individual male Hispanics, not families. Caravans of migrant families are a new phenomenon. Our border policies have had to be quickly revised to keep the U.S. from being overwhelmed by this massive new influx of migrants. Admittedly, some mistakes have happened and require correction. But liberals don't understand how our border resources have been strained to the breaking point by the unprecedented number of migrants. The president's proposal to build a wall has met with outright derision, as if it was the only strategy. But the president's wall is one of many methods to stem the immigration tide. Previous books and chapters on immigration in the U.S. Fractured America. Chapters in Crime in America. Uncertain Justice. For more information, American Leadership Books, Little Rock, Arkansas. www.americanleadershipbooks.com. Info@americanleadershipbooks.com